So I ended up hopping on a job where I was delivering potato chips for Utz, and my life was miserable. And I hated every second of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take off with this and see what happens. So, all right, kick it off, Nathan.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, I kind of know what to say.
Say,
We got a lot to say. That's
you know,
why we're starting a podcast.
We've been thinking about this for a while, and Mike finally pitched the idea to us, and so we're going to take off with it.
All right, guys, welcome to the Clucking Around podcast.
That was good. Keep going.
Is that good?
Yeah.
It's almost like Rowan Burgundy. We need a teleprompter, though.
I need the
Think we could
mustache.
get one of those?
Maybe.
Get a teleprompter up there?
Brian's always wanted one.
Mustache or teleprompter?
Teleprompter.
Yeah,
Yes.
I need
He's
one.
always like, if you could write on a card and hold it up.
Yeah, he won't do it for me, though.
No,
I
definitely
suck
not.
on in front of the camera. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
really bad.
Well, then why don't you start
Like not
filming
on a
Nate?
not on a podcast. Like I'm fine, but like
Yeah.
when I'm trying to explain calling and stuff like that, I hate it.
But yet you won't let Nate on social media. It's always
I
him
always ask
filming.
him to. I seriously, I'd rather be the guy behind the camera or holding the camera because I don't like being in front of the camera.
We'll get you trained up on that.
I got a
then.
monotone, annoying voice that nobody wants to hear.
Yeah. We'll let you call turkeys, I guess, on the camera.
Everybody's gonna be so lucky to hear me talking.
All right, so we decided to start the Clucking Around podcast, just have some good table talk and go over, what we do here at Cluck, who we are, and just have some good conversations. And we've been wanting to do this for a while. And, I don't know, Brian and I have been talking about it now for, probably a year and a half.
Yeah, pushing a year, I'd say.
And Mike finally was like, we're going to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I sat up here the other day for, 8 hours? Yeah. We just sat around the table and talked. I mean, you guys worked. I just sat here, but I thought, boy, if we would be recording, we had some interesting conversations, but a few of them we probably couldn't have showed or heard, but
Probably.
we can edit those out, though.
Yeah. So, so that's where we came up with the Clucking Around podcast.
I mean, makes sense. Yeah, I think between the three of us, we got, I always say I'm not good at anything, but I'm okay at a lot of things. So I think between the three of us, we're okay at a lot more things. And we can dabble in a little bit of everything, whether it be turkey hunting, obviously, food plotting, target archery, fishing.
Yeah, we just have so many connections between the three of us within the outdoor industry, and I think we should, can definitely bring on some good guests over, the entirety of the year.
Yeah, I think I would like to just, bring in some like-minded people and just talk hunting and fishing. I mean, that's kind of the simplified version of it all.
Yeah. So I guess to get started here is, where did Cluck come from? Where did it originate from? And Brian, you started Cluck back in 2020?
2020 was the first year that I actually had a website and stuff like that. But I started out of my house a couple years prior where, I originally just started making turkey calls myself, just trying to get, for myself to become a better caller. So after a few years, though, of doing it, I'd have people show up at my house. Hey, I heard you make some turkey calls, and I'd just sell them out of my living room there for like $5 a pop, and decided one day I was just gonna start trying to sell them online, and so 2020 came around, and I was building bowstrings for 60X Custom Strings, and work got slow because all our supplies came from China. So I ended up hopping on a job where I was delivering potato chips for Utz, and my life was miserable. And I hated every second of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take off with this and see what happens. So I came home the one night and got on Shopify and made a website and started selling the product, and continued delivering potato chips. And then I was still doing the bowstrings. Things did get better, so I was able to go back to building bowstrings full time. And but yeah, so that was kind of the start of it. And then a little bit later on, the one day, actually I was at a wedding, and Nate just happened to be at the table beside me. And did we know each other at all before that wedding? Did we meet? Oh, we met
Yeah.
I met you on a creek one time.
Yeah, fishing, but also I actually came down here and filmed that video before that wedding.
Yes,
Because
that's
I
right.
reached out to you about making like a promo video for Cluck because I saw the company and I thought it was like a really cool idea. So I reached out to Brian, and I had dabbled a little bit with, videography and whatnot, and I came down and we got to talk and made a little video for Cluck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then it was like, I don't know, a couple months later.
That was probably in the summertime, like maybe like June or something like that. You came down.
Yeah, something like that. And then in October?
I think it was
October. It was October. It was
an
an October wedding.
I hate October weddings. Miserable.
I don't know why they do that.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah. But anyway, so we ended up sitting next to each other at a wedding and got to talking again. And then we were both archery hunting the one night. I was in a tree. You were in a tree.
Yeah.
And I got a text from you asking if I wanted to partner with you in Cluck. And
yeah, it was pretty random. Like I told my wife, like after that wedding that night, I was like, I think I'm gonna ask Nate if he wants to split the company with me. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I was like, he has like all the photography skills and stuff like that. And, I can tell, I could just tell like whenever he came down to do that film for me, like he didn't want any money or anything. He was just like, hey, like I just want to, I'm trying to work on my craft. And I was like, that tells you a lot about a person whenever they will come down and do something for free for you to try to help you with your business. And at that point, I didn't know you. One other time I met you on the crick and I didn't even know it was you.
Yeah, we didn't even know
years
each other.
later.
Yeah.
So, I told my wife and I was like, I'm going to send him a message and see if he's interested in partnering with me, talk about it anyways. And so that night I sent him a message and I ended up killing it was that buck right there up on the wall, that 11 point. And so I didn't get back to you for a while after you were like, yeah, that sounds great, And
Yeah. I went home and asked my wife, I was like, what do you think? And she was like, well, I don't see why not,
Did you say it was weird or something? She's like, isn't that kind of weird? Why would he ask you?
Yeah, she's like, why? Yeah, she's like, why did he pick you? I was like, well, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
But yeah, so then, here we are, and I think it was the following year. No, that night I told you, I was like, you were trying to grow the company, and I was like, why don't you like make a TikTok? I was like, I think TikTok's getting pretty big right now, and
this is prior to partnering. Also.
Yeah, this was prior to partnering.
Brian's like, what's TikTok?
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, why don't you make a TikTok video? So he made a TikTok video making a turkey call, and he texted me that night, or it was like the next day. He's like, I'm going viral, and he just kept telling me, he's like, it's up to like 100,000 views, 500,000 views.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And so then he asked me to partner with him, and then the next year we were making some turkey calls and started doing a little bit more with social media and things like that, and we saw
we did well from 2020 to like 20. What year did you partner with me? 2021.
2021 would have been the first year.
Yeah, so all of 2021, all of 2022, we were more or less we still had our full-time jobs. I was still building bowstrings. Nate was at the hospital, but then he ended up resigning at the hospital, and he started building bowstrings, so we could both get on the same schedule to build calls as much as possible. So because he was working all 3 shifts at that time.
Yeah, I was working shift work at the hospital, and then Brian asked me if I'd be interested in building bowstrings, and I said yeah, and that's kind of how we got on the same schedule, building turkey calls, and then it was like we were building bowstrings, building turkey calls, and we started selling some turkey calls, and we were like, whoa, like this could be a real thing. Like we started selling a decent amount of turkey calls.
At the end of 2022 in December, we just started getting more and more orders, and I was like, whoa, like where's this coming from, And then the beginning of January in 2023, we were, just getting hammered with orders, and I was like, at the time, would we have like 2,000 calls made for the year, and for all of 2023, and what was the number we put on it, like 7,000? We kind of predicted we'd sell or something, and we ended up, just in that first month selling tons of calls, and where it was at the point where we couldn't keep up with the bowstrings and it, and so I had, ended up having to, resign with 60X, and that was a tough decision because I was with those guys for 8 years, and I was able to work from home, and they've always treated me great there, and enjoyed my time working for Brad and Dawn, and So, but yes, now here we are, almost a full year into it now, and
Yeah, full time.
full time with it. And
Now, I want to back up, though. When I came down and I filmed that video for you, you asked if I wanted paid for the, or you were like, well, I don't have a whole lot of money, but, and I was like, no, like, I want to do it for free for, like, I just want to do this for practice for myself, too. And I was like, I'll tell you what. I was like, how about a turkey call?
yeah,
So Brian gave me a turkey call, and I just wanted to back up for a second because I'd been a turkey hunter my whole life since I was, 12 years old. But I tried that turkey call, and I was like, this is the best turkey call that I've ever used. And it wasn't like I was an experienced turkey hunter by any means.
and he didn't sound good
made
by
it
any
12
means.
No,
minutes
and I
shameless
didn't
plug.
sound I didn't sound good by any means, but I was like, this is the best turkey call that I've ever used. Like the easiest, it fit the best. It was just very easy to use, and I think I even said that to you too. So
yeah,
it,
no,
it
you didn't sound bad for real.
so it just made it a much easier decision for me whenever he asked me to partner with him, because I was like, yeah, like you really do. You really are pumping out a great product, and a product that I thought was, just in the one that I tried was like, man, this is awesome. And so it just made my decision a lot easier to partner with you.
Yeah, and and again, I would just go back to the work ethic, like, before we took it full time, and even like when you were still at the hospital, like you were working for the hospital, you were doing all that work for Nate's one of the co-owners of Allegheny Native, which is a YouTube channel, and yeah, and I mean, so like when a guy is doing that, he's doing all those videos, he's doing all the editing, and not all, Caleb's doing editing and stuff like that too, but just, I could just tell like your work ethic was very good, and then, with myself with building bowstrings all day long, and then trying to come back and, build turkey calls in the evenings, and, there's just so much, and nothing, it doesn't go unnoticed when somebody has a good work ethic, and,
It's slightly hard to find these days.
Yeah.
It seems like.
oh,
But
I
yes,
know.
so in a nutshell, that is how Cluck Custom Calls was formed, and that's how we are what we are today.
Yeah.
So, and then what, I don't remember, Mike. How did you reach out to us, or did I reach out to you?
It started with my cousin Nate.
That's right.
You remember the first phone call when you two were sitting here, and Brian said, "I'm sitting here with Nate," and I said, "Doesn't that kid work ever?"
Yeah.
Thinking it was my cousin Nate.
Oh yeah, I'm
and
like,
it-
oh thanks,
it was
Mike.
you, and like, yeah. So my first impression was me bashing Nate for not working, and I didn't even know him at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nate has used your calls for a while, and I'd seen all the stuff on social media, and reached out to you guys, and kind of in the same boat with as Nate was with my photography and videography, and just kind of reached out to see what I could help with, and I guess it's been like the cat that you put food out for, and I just haven't left it. So
just keep coming back.
So yeah, but no, I definitely look around the manufacturing facilities here, and you guys got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I just wanted to be a part of it however I could, and secretly just really wanted to learn how to turkey call. So that's all that I've been doing this for, and I guess in
Well,
about
we got you fixed after that last visit.
35 seconds of calling the other day, you got me at least sounding kind of like a turkey. So
No, you sounded good.
I told my dad that on the way here. He's like, "Good, now that you're 33 years old, I don't have to call in turkeys for you anymore." So, but yeah, it's I think we got a lot of big plans, and I like that you guys have a lot of goals, and I can see already that when you guys make a goal, you do what you can to get to it. So, glad to be clucking around with you.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. It's like I said, it's something Brian and I have wanted to do for a while now, and I think we have a lot of really great connections. We've met so many great people along the way that we can really put out a lot of great content for listeners, and there's just too much there to not share with everybody.
Yeah, and I think what will be cool too is I honestly think we'll have some pretty big names on this podcast that we'll be able to reach out to that'll come on and love to share their stories and tactics and techniques with whether it be
There's 3 of them right now that are
hu-
pretty big. I mean,
between hunting though and
yeah,
and your target shooters. I shot a lot of competition archery there for years.
Yeah.
Nate on the river, and
Yeah.
yourself with all the
he's struggling to see something I'm good at. You doing
the bird
whatever it
hunting,
is that you do, and yeah,
the duck hunting and
Waterfowl.
yeah, the waterfowl. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
But no, and on top of that though, we've met a lot of guys over the past 2 years here now of doing this that they're not big names in the industry, but they are absolute killers. Whether it be hunting bucks or hunting turkey, waterfowl, and so just to get some of these guys on here and let you listen to what they're doing and
Yep. Local legends.
yeah, they truly are too, and just a few guys I didn't really know until I started building turkey calls that then they tell you how many birds a year they're killing, and I mean they're crushing, just absolutely crushing it, and I've been usually like a one state type of guy myself, and I always just take people out after I kill my limit, and my kid gets his limit, and that's what I've always done. But then you see these guys that are going out of state on public up in the mountains, and so yeah, there's a few people that we're definitely going to reach out to and get those guys on the podcast, and I'm sure they'd love to share their tactics and
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean it's like somebody says, you've heard one hunting story, you've heard them all, but we still like to tell them all and listen to them all. So
yeah,
there'll be no shortage of stories coming across this podcast, I don't believe.
Yeah, and I another thing I'd like to we'll definitely have some really good turkey callers that are that we can get on here now that we have we got Jim and Jimmy Pollard, Eric Bott, Jed Pronish, and John Egolf. You have those 5 guys that are great competition callers, but they're also just absolute turkey killers. And if we can get on this podcast and help somebody learn how to call better, or just again, I keep on using the word techniques. In turkey hunting, there's so many different ways to hunt them, but there's little tricks here and there that might help a guy put a tag on a bird this spring.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to touch on. That you got to talking about there is just the team that we've been putting together here at Cluck has just been awesome. The guys that are coming aboard with us, and they're great guys, great turkey callers, but even better people. Yeah. And we're really fortunate to be surrounded by these guys, because it's they've been in the industry a long time, and Brian and I, we have we make the turkey calls, but they really help us to just kind of like guide us, and like they've been in the industry for so long and they know so much that we don't even know a fraction of.
Yep, and we value all their input.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we're 2 younger guys, but we're not 2 young punks that are that we think we know everything. So, when those guys say something, like our ears perk up and we listen, because they've done it all. They've been in the industry for so long. I mean, old Big John Egolf. I mean, he's old enough to be our dad.
Yeah, but he's
a great guy.
Great guy,
and well, that's he's a guy. He went down to Nashville with us last year. We went down to Ben Chamberlain's house to listen to him and Jed Pronish call, and John was there. This is prior to Grand Nationals last year, and just met John there for 2 hours that night talking turkey and stuff like that. And we were like, let's see if he wants to go to Nashville with us. So I called him up a couple days later, and I was like, hey, John, would you want to help at the booth? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Anything I can do to help you guys. And that's how that connection was made. Never knew John prior to that. Jed knew him, and so it's just pretty cool, just the way things have panned out for us and the connections we keep making. But again, these guys, they know turkey and they know the outdoors. They're good woodsmen, so we're excited to, bring them onto the podcast and let everybody meet them and learn about them, and hopefully it helps somebody out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we got a long list we've already went over here today of people that we want to have on, and I don't think we're going to have any shortage of guests or knowledge of certain outdoor activities, and we'll see what we can bring to everybody. That's it for another episode of the Clucking Around podcast. We thank everybody for listening. Be sure to check us out on all social medias at Cluck Custom Calls and our website, cluckcustomcalls.com.